The void was alive. It whispered through the hull of the Oblivion's wake, low and deep, like the breath of something ancient. The ship's skin shimmered with dark reflections, light bent away from it, as though reality itself refused to touch what humanity had become. Commander Elara Voss stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind her back, eyes fixed on the holographic map of the surrounding system. The stars looked wrong here. They bled faint colors, twisted by gravity distortions. The abyss had always been that way, hungry, unpredictable, indifferent. It had devoured the weak. But humanity had learned to devour back. "Contact," said Kaldrine, her second in command. His voice carried no tension, just focus. "Council fleet, 5 ships mining in restricted coordinates. They haven't detected us yet." Elara tilted her head slightly. "Project a visual." The screen bloomed to life. Metallic leviathans drifted near a broken planet, their spires drilling into its molten crust. Council banners gleamed along their sides, pristine, cold, untouchable. Seeing them again after centuries made her chest tighten. Those ships represented everything humanity had lost. "Identification confirmed," Kale said. "Class, Archon Survey Flotilla. Primary vessel, Vigilant Harmony. Designation matches the destroyer class used during the Earth cleansing." Elara's expression didn't change, but something in her eyes hardened. "So they finally returned." She stepped closer to the viewport. Beyond it, the void stretched into infinite nothing, yet she could almost see Earth's burning reflection there, the blue world turning to ash beneath orbital fire. Generations had passed, but the memory remained coded into every abyss-born cell. "They send us here to die," Kale muttered. Elara's gaze flicked toward him. "And we didn't." The bridge fell silent. Only the quiet pulse of the resonance core filled the air, a rhythmic thrum, like a heartbeat too large to belong to a single being. Every abyss-born ship carried one, forged from the black matter storms that had once annihilated their ancestors. Humanity had made weapons out of the very forces that tried to erase them. "Power up the veil field," Elara ordered. "Approach Vector 210. I want them to see us the moment we decloak." Kale hesitated. "We're revealing ourselves?" "Yes." She turned her gaze back to the drifting council ships. "It's time the galaxy remembered what it buried." The veil shimmered away. The Oblivion's wake emerged from the dark, its silhouette impossible, part machine, part living thing. The hull flexed as if breathing, absorbing starlight. Across the council flotilla, alarms flared. A voice cracked through the comms. "Unidentified vessel, this is the Galactic Council Authority's ship Vigilant Harmony. Identify yourself and state your purpose." Elara nodded to Kale. "Open channel." The bridge lights dimmed as she spoke. "This is Commander Elara Voss of the Abyss-born Dominion. You asked for identification, humanity delivers it." The silence that followed was palpable. Then, static and an uncertain reply. "Humanity? That species was eradicated 6 centuries ago." Kale gave a humorless smile. "Apparently not." The alien voice resumed, sharper now. "Your claim is impossible. State your origin." Elara's tone was calm. "Our origin is the abyss. Our destination, justice." Weapons locked on both sides. Energy readings spiked. Kale's hands hovered near the tactical interface. "They're powering shields." "Orders?" "Wait." Elara studied the enemy formation. Every move they made was textbook, predictable, sanitized, efficient. The same logic that once deemed her species unfit for existence. She almost pitied them. Almost. "Transmit this," she said quietly. "Ancient Earth Identification Code, Alpha 7. Kale sent the pulse. Across space, the code pinged through subspace channels. It was old, primitive, obsolete by millennia, but unmistakably human. On the Council ship, panic erupted. "By decree of the Galactic Council, you are in violation of Sovereign Order 001. Surrender your vessel immediately or face termination." Elara looked unimpressed. "They haven't changed their script." The fleet moved into formation, weapons humming. Kale tensed. They're charging main batteries. Then let them see what the abyss taught us. Her voice dropped into a whisper. Fire! The Oblivion's wake came alive. Space tore open around it as gravitic lances erupted from the ship's flanks, arcs of warp light that sliced through the void. The Council destroyers never had a chance. Their shields rippled once, then folded like paper. Debris scattered, swallowed instantly by micro-singularities. One vessel survived, crippled and burning. Alara gave the command to disable it. Bring the survivors aboard, she said. We need answers. Minutes later, 2 Marines escorted a captured alien onto the bridge, a crystalline being wrapped in a shimmering containment field. It stood taller than a man, every motion deliberate. It glared at Alara through a translucent face. You are an abomination. Alara regarded it with quiet curiosity. Interesting. You annihilate a species, and we're the monsters? The Council deemed humanity unstable. Your emotions are disease. You bring entropy wherever you exist. Kale snorted. Entropy built your empire. Alara stepped closer. Tell me, who sent you to this sector? The alien hesitated, then spoke. By order of High Archon Cyril Thane, we reclaimed this region for energy extraction. The Abyss is Council property. At that name, Alara's jaw tightened. Cyril Thane still lives? He commands the Restoration Initiative. You will not stop it. Alara studied the being in silence, then turned away. Release him, she said. Kale frowned. Commander? Release him, she repeated. Send him back with a message. She leaned close to the alien, her voice cold and measured. Tell your Archon the Dark remembers. Tell him humanity remembers. The containment field dissolved. The alien was teleported back to its crippled vessel, left adrift with her words echoing through its neural matrix. Kale approached, lowering his voice. You're sending him back to warn them? To invite them, she said. The Council thinks the Abyss is a graveyard. Let them come see what we've built from their ashes. Kale's expression hardened with grim respect. Then this is the beginning. Alara watched the stars twist around them, gravity curling in faint spirals of light. No, she said quietly. This is the echo. The beginning already happened, when they sent us here to die. She turned to the crew. Set course for the galactic border. Signal the Dominion. Humanity rises. Engines roared, bending the void into a shimmering wake of distorted light. The ship vanished into nothingness, leaving behind only wreckage and the faint whisper of human voices carried by the Abyss itself. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy trembled at the word human. The Abyss hummed with memory. Every pulse of the Oblivion's wake echoed through space like a heartbeat that refused to die. Outside the viewport, the stars folded and stretched, threads of distorted light twisting around invisible gravity wells. Humanity's exiled fleet was on the move again, silent, deliberate, unstoppable. Commander Alara Va stood alone in the observation deck, her reflection ghosting across the glass. In the distance, the fractured ring world of Sereth hung broken, a reminder of civilizations that once thought themselves eternal. Now, the Council mined its ruins for power. And the Abyss-born were coming to end that. Kaldreen entered quietly. Scans confirmed the Archon fleet mobilizing near Sereth. Estimated arrival, 8 cycles. Alara didn't look away. Cyril Thane doesn't waste time. He's bringing half the Council Navy. Kale leaned against the bulkhead. They've never moved that many ships for a single threat. They fear us. They fear what they don't understand, she said. Always have. Silence settled between them, heavy and familiar. Kale studied her expression. You've seen him before, haven't you? This Archon. Alara's jaw tightened. Not in person. But his orders erased my world. He signed Earth's death with a gesture and called it logic. Her tone was calm, but Kale could feel the restraint behind it, the same quiet fury that fueled every Abyss-born. We've come far from that fire, he said. But I wonder if he even remembers what he did. Alara's gaze hardened. Then I'll remind him. She turned toward the hollow map. The fleet's movement lines shimmered, hundreds of vessels converging from the shadow sectors. Each ship bore a name carved from memory: New Dawn, Ashen Vale, The Last Home. They weren't just warships, they were gravestones turned weapons. A young officer's voice broke through the comms. "Commander, incoming transmission, Priority 1 from the Dominion Council." "Patch it through," Elara ordered. The holographic form of Chancellor Rian appeared, his features austere and carved by centuries of abyssal adaptation. "Commander Voss, your engagement with the Council flotilla has drawn attention. The Archon has declared the Abyss-born an existential threat." "He already declared that 7 centuries ago," Elara replied dryly. Rian's eyes flickered. "We have reports of the Council deploying resonance inhibitors near Sereth. They intend to collapse the gravitational corridors. If they succeed, we'll be trapped. Then we strike before they finish. That would risk open war." Elara's tone didn't waver. "It's already war." Rian studied her in silence. "Be cautious, Commander. The galaxy will not forgive another fire." The transmission ended. Kale exhaled slowly. "The Chancellor fears what we might become." Elara turned toward him. "He fears what we already are." Hours later, the fleet drifted in formation, hidden within a massive nebular cloud. Pale light filtered through gas tendrils, painting the hulls in shades of silver and violet. Inside the command center, the air was dense with anticipation. Kale studied the tactical readings. Archon ships entering the perimeter. Their energy patterns, clean, geometric, predictable. Elara nodded. "Predictability is their weakness. Prepare the resonance engine." The crew moved with mechanical precision. No one spoke of fear, they had burned that away generations ago. Still, beneath their calm efficiency, something human lingered, the spark of defiance that no evolution could erase. Kale approached her console. "Before we activate the engine, you should see this." A projection shimmered into view, a cluster of smaller vessels approaching the Archon fleet under a white flag. "Envis ships," Kale said. "Ours." Elara's eyes narrowed. "Who sent them?" "Admiral Saran. He thought negotiation might avoid conflict." The screen displayed the Envis transmitting peace signals, unarmed and unshielded. Seconds later, light flared, Archon ray of fire pierced them cleanly. One by one, the ships disintegrated into molten fragments. The bridge went still. Kale whispered. "They didn't even respond." Elara closed her eyes for a moment, steadying her voice. "That was their answer." She faced the crew. "Target their flagship." Kale hesitated. "Elara, if we fire the resonance engine here, we expose its signature. The Council will know what we've built." "They already know," she said. "They just haven't believed it." The resonance engine awakened. Low vibrations filled the ship, crawling across the floor and through their bones. The hull glowed faintly, like a heartbeat under glass. Outside, reality began to ripple, the space around them bending, folding, reshaping. Kale watched the readings spike. "Stabilizers holding at 60%. "Hold them," Elara commanded. "Begin harmonic charge." Light burst outward in expanding rings, invisible to the eye but felt in every nerve. Across the void, Archon ships faltered, their navigation scrambled, shields distorting. The comms flared alive. A cold, measured voice filled the bridge. "This is High Archon Cyril Thane. Unknown vessel, cease your activity. You are destabilizing controlled space." Elara smiled faintly. "He's speaking to us directly." Kale opened a channel. "Audio only." She straightened. "High Archon. This is Commander Elara Voss of the Abyss-born Dominion." There was a pause. Then, "The humans. I expected myths, not ghosts." "You expected corpses," she replied. "But we learned to thrive where you sent us to die. Your survival was not the intent." "I know," she said evenly. "That's what makes it poetic." Cyril's tone remained calm. "You play with forces beyond your comprehension. Cease this now, And I may allow containment instead of eradication. Elara's eyes hardened. Containment is just a slower death. You mistake defiance for strength, he said. Emotion clouds your judgment, as it always has. And logic blinded yours, she countered. You killed a world to silence its heartbeat. But we became the echo. Cyril's composure cracked, only slightly. You speak like something more than human. Perhaps we are. She ended the transmission. Fire the engine. The resonance engine unleashed its pulse. Space convulsed. Light folded inward. The Archon fleet fractured as gravitational waves tore through their formation. Ships collided, melted, vanished into miniature singularities. But Elara's fleet held firm, riding the storm like predators born from chaos. Direct hit! Kale shouted. Their lines are collapsing. Pull back, Elara ordered. Leave survivors. Let them carry the message. As the distortion faded, silence returned, a silence deeper than before, heavy with consequence. Kale turned toward her. They'll retaliate. I'm counting on it. He studied her expression. You're not satisfied with survival anymore. No, she said quietly. Survival was yesterday. Today, we reclaim meaning. Outside, the wreckage of the Archon ships drifted through the gas clouds like dying embers. The abyss swallowed them whole. Later, alone in her quarters, Elara replayed the battle logs. Each flash of destruction, each scream of collapsing metal, reminded her of Earth's last transmission, centuries-old static ending with a single human voice, "We endure." Her reflection in the dark glass flickered, half human, half light. The abyss had changed them, yes, but not broken them. She could still feel the pulse of her heart beneath the augmentations, fragile yet defiant. Kale's voice interrupted through the intercom. Fleet reports minimal damage. Dominion Command requests update. Every scanner on the Oblivion's wake screamed warnings. Gravitational distortions rippled through the void like thunder underwater. The Ceres system was collapsing, pulled apart by the Archon fleet's weapon, the Purity Arc, a colossal construct burning white in the dark, its light devouring shadows and sense alike. Commander Elara Voss stood on the bridge, face lit by the dying starlight. Around her, the crew worked in silent focus. Every one of them knew what this meant. The Council had come to erase the abyss itself. Status on the Ark? She asked. Kaldrin's voice was steady. Energy output increasing. They're channeling antimatter through a singularity core. If it detonates, everything within 3 systems collapses into nothing. So, she murmured, they'd rather burn the galaxy than admit we survived. Kale met her eyes. Orders? Elara gazed at the display, thousands of Council ships surrounding the Ark, forming a luminous shield wall. A fortress of perfection. Cold. Predictable. We go through, she said. The bridge fell silent. No one questioned her. The crew of the Oblivion's wake had long stopped fearing death. Signal the fleet, Elara ordered. All abyss-born formations to converge. Begin resonance sync. Full burn. Kale nodded. They'll hear us across half the galaxy. Good, she said. Let them listen. Moments later, the abyss-born Dominion emerged from the shadows. Hundreds of ships, each forged in silence and suffering, poured from gravitational rifts. Their hulls shimmered black and silver, alive with faint pulsations of light, like hearts beating in defiance of extinction. Across the void, Archon fleets adjusted formation. The calms flooded with the voice of High Archon Cyril Thane. You persist, he said coldly. Even now, clinging to existence that was never meant to be. Elara's reply was calm, steady. We don't cling, Archon. We evolve. You are corruption given form. This galaxy was balanced until your return. Balance? She almost laughed. You mean obedience. You call it order when others stop breathing. Cyril's tone sharpened. This conversation ends now. Then let history finish it for us, Elara said. Engage. The abyss roared. Resonance waves surged through the fleet, bending space around them. Human ships dived through the Council lines, moving like living shadows. Energy fire tore through the void, blinding streaks of blue and white colliding with ripples of dark distortion. Kale shouted over the din. Multiple hits! Shields holding, barely! Ilara's voice cut through the chaos. Push forward! The Ark is the target! Council warships formed the wall of light, their weapons synchronized with machine precision. But the Abyss-born didn't fight with equations, they fought with instinct, fury, and something the Archons could never model, will. Ilara's ship slammed through a cruiser, tearing it in half with a gravity pulse. Debris spiraled outward, glowing like embers in the dark. Kale, reroute power from weapons to the resonance core, she ordered. That'll drop our defenses. We won't need them. Minutes stretched like hours. The fleet carved its way toward the Arkansas. Each human ship fell like a spark against the storm, but the storm began to falter. Inside the Oblivion's wake, alarms screamed. The hull was fracturing under stress. Kale turned to her. We can't take another hit. We don't stop now. The comms flickered again, Cyril's voice, closer this time, echoing through the Ark's channel. Do you see what you've done, human? You've doomed what's left of your kind. Ilara stood tall, staring into the light of his massive construct. No, she said quietly. We've freed it. Then she gave the final order. Take us in. The Oblivion's wake plunged into the Ark's defensive barrier. The shield screamed against the impact, flames of energy clawing at the hull. Inside, gravity twisted, light bent into spirals. Crew members held their stations through sheer will. Kale gritted his teeth. We're breaching. 10 seconds to core proximity. Prepare boarding sequence, Ilara said. You're going in there? If I don't, everything ends here. Kale grabbed her arm. If you go, you might not come back. She met his gaze. If I stay, none of us will. He hesitated, then nodded. For Earth. For humanity, she corrected softly. The transport capsule launched from the Oblivion's wake, a spear of black light cutting through the maelstrom. It struck the Ark's surface and buried deep within. Ilara emerged, plasma rifle in hand, gravity boots locking onto the translucent floor. The inside of the Ark was cathedral-like, vast corridors of white crystal pulsing with cold energy. Every wall thrummed with harmonic frequencies designed to suppress thought, emotion, identity. She could feel it pressing on her mind, trying to erase her. You've come far, Cyril's voice echoed. But this is where entropy ends. He appeared ahead, an ethereal figure of refracted light, humanoid but flawless, eyes like twin suns. You learned nothing, he said. Emotion built your ruin. Now you infect the void itself. Ilara raised her weapon. Maybe. But it also built everything you fear. Cyril's form pulsed brighter. Fear is a human defect. Then you shouldn't have any, she said and fired. The beam passed through him, scattering light. The Ark trembled. He reformed instantly, smirking without a mouth. Violence. Always violence. You prove our judgment correct. Judgment is easy, she said. Understanding costs something. Cyril's voice deepened. You are chaos. I'm alive. She dropped the weapon. The resonance core implant in her chest flared, synchronizing with the ship's pulse far above. You wanted to end the abyss, she whispered. I'll give you light instead. Her body began to dissolve into energy, veins of blue and silver spreading through her skin. The core expanded, connecting with the Ark's singularity feed. Cyril recoiled. What are you doing? Something you never could, changing. The Ark system screamed as resonance surged. Energy cascaded, uncontrolled. The singularity core inverted, turning inward instead of outward. Kale's voice crackled faintly over comms. Ilara, your vitals. She smiled faintly. It's all right, Kale. The abyss kept us alive long enough to remember what light is. Then everything exploded. A flash consumed the Seraph system. Not destruction, transformation. The Purity Ark imploded, collapsing its antimatter core into a singular point, then rebounding outward. Light poured from the void, forming a newborn star at the center of the chaos, a fusion flame brighter than any sun in the sector. The abyss, once endless darkness, now glowed. Kale watched from the bridge, eyes wide as the new dawn spread across the scanners. "She did it," he whispered. "She made a sun." All around, abyss-born ships ceased fire. Silence replaced battle. The wreckage of council fleets drifted, illuminated by the new light. Kale opened a final transmission. "To all units. Commander Voss is gone. But her message remains." He turned toward the glowing horizon. "Humanity isn't returning to the galaxy's mercy. We are its reminder, what survives when mercy dies." Across the galaxy, signals spread, encoded pulses, the same frequency as the resonance core. Every listening world heard the same message in a voice both human and something more. "You send us to the dark to die. We found the light there. And now we return it to you."